The world of organized crime is a dark and dangerous place where power, money, and violence are the currency of survival. Across the globe, there are various criminal groups that operate with different structures, cultures, and objectives, but share a common goal: to dominate their territories and expand their influence. These groups are known as mafias and are responsible for many illicit activities, such as drug trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, murder, corruption, etc. These groups include the Italian Mafia. The Italian Mafia is a network of organized crime groups that originated in Italy and later expanded to other regions of Italy and the United States. The Italian Mafia has a long and complex history that involves political, social, and economic factors. Various foreign invaders ruled the island of Sicily for centuries. This led the local people to form groups to defend themselves and their interests from the oppressive authorities. These groups, also known as clans or families, developed their code of conduct and justice based on loyalty, secrecy, and violence. By the 19th century, some of these groups became private armies that extorted money from landowners and farmers in exchange for protection. In the coming years, the Sicilian Mafia became a collection of criminal clans that controlled different territories and activities on the island. The Sicilian Mafia expanded its influence to other parts of Italy in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, especially after the unification of Italy in 1861. The Italian government tried to suppress the Mafia with harsh measures, but failed to eradicate it completely. The Mafia took advantage of the political and social unrest in Italy, such as the rise of fascism and the world wars, to infiltrate various sectors of society, such as politics, business, labor unions, and the media. The Mafia also established connections with other criminal organizations in Italy, such as the Camorra of Naples, the 'Ndrangheta of Calabria, and the Sacra Corona Unita of Puglia. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Italian Mafia expanded its operations to the United States, where many Sicilian immigrants settled. The American Mafia, which was also known as La Cosa Nostra, or Our Thing, was a separate entity from the Sicilian Mafia, but shared some of its traditions and practices, such as omerta, or a code of silence, and the hierarchical structure of boss, underboss, consigliere, or advisor, capo, or captain, and soldier. The American Mafia rose to power in the 1920s during the Prohibition era, when it engaged in bootlegging, gambling, racketeering, and other illegal activities. The American Mafia peaked in the 1950s and 60s, when it had influence over many cities and industries in the United States. However, the influence of the American Mafia decreased following internal conflicts, betrayals, and crackdowns by law enforcement agencies, such as the FBI. The Italian Mafia underwent significant changes in the late 20th and early 21st centuries and has faced increased pressure from the Italian government and society, which have launched anti-mafia campaigns and initiatives to combat corruption and organized crime. The Italian Mafia has also faced competition from other criminal groups. The Italian Mafia has adapted to these changes by diversifying its tactics, forming alliances with other organizations, and using more sophisticated methods of communication and operation. Although the Italian Mafia is still active and is involved in various crimes such as drug trafficking, money laundering, extortion, murder, and human trafficking, they have gotten smarter and have diversified into victimless crimes like money laundering, identity fraud, credit card fraud, etc. The Chinese Triads. The origins of the Chinese Triads can be traced back centuries to the secret societies that emerged during China's fierce dynastic periods. These societies initially aimed to overthrow corrupt rulers, but over time, they evolved into secret organizations with their own codes of conduct and rituals. The Triads, or Triandahui in Mandarin, have a hierarchical structure similar to the Italian Mafia, with a power pyramid comprising leaders, lieutenants, and foot soldiers. What sets them apart is their emphasis on strict initiation ceremonies and the cultivation of brotherhood. Loyalty and honor are important, and betrayal is met with severe consequences. From their roots in mainland China, the Triads have expanded their reach to over 40 countries, with their largest presence felt in Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and various overseas Chinese communities. Their international network allows them to engage in various criminal activities, from drug trafficking to human smuggling, extortion, and money laundering. One of their most lucrative enterprises is drug trafficking, The triads have mastered the art of smuggling narcotics, such as heroin and methamphetamine, into global markets. Their ability to infiltrate supply chains, bribe officials, and maintain operational secrecy makes them formidable adversaries for law enforcement agencies worldwide. Within the triads, the enforcers are known as the Red Poles. These individuals are responsible for maintaining discipline and order within the organization, often through violence and intimidation. Their brutality is legendary, and they are not to be toyed with. The Red Poles' influence extends beyond the criminal world and into legitimate businesses, where they wield power through extortion and protection rackets. They are the muscle behind the triad's financial empire, ensuring that debts are repaid and the organization's interests are protected. One of the triad's greatest strengths lies in their ability to launder money on a massive scale. They've perfected the art of hiding illicit gains within legitimate financial systems. With access to a global network of front companies, shell corporations, and underground banks, they can disguise their wealth as legitimate investments. In recent years, the triads have even ventured into cybercrime, using their financial muscle to fund hacking operations and online fraud. This diversification has allowed them to adapt to the digital age while maintaining their traditional criminal enterprises. In response to mounting pressure, various countries have intensified their efforts to disrupt triad operations. They've focused on tracking their money flows, dismantling their cybercrime networks, and arresting key figures. However, the triad's adaptability and resilience ensure that they remain a persistent threat. The Russian Mafia. The collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s created a perfect storm for the growth of organized crime in Russia. The sudden shift from a heavily controlled communist regime to a more open and free market economy brought about economic instability, corruption, and a surge in criminal activities. Amidst this chaos, criminal syndicates began to emerge, taking advantage of the new opportunities presented by the fragmented political and economic landscape. The Russian Mafia, also known as Bratva, meaning brotherhood, operates on a hierarchical structure similar to traditional criminal organizations. This structure, characterized by loyalty and strict hierarchies, extends across various criminal enterprises, with different factions controlling specific territories. What sets the Russian Mafia apart is its extensive international reach. They've surpassed their homeland and established a presence in numerous countries worldwide, especially Europe, the Americas, and Asia. Their global influence allows them to partake in many criminal activities, making them a force to be reckoned with. Drug trafficking is a significant source of revenue for the Russian Mafia. They've positioned themselves as key players in the global drug trade, smuggling narcotics like heroin, cocaine, and synthetic drugs. Their operations are well organized, leveraging their international network to ensure a steady flow of illicit substances into various markets. The modern era has seen the Russian Mafia adapt to technological advancements, particularly cybercrime. They have become proficient in cyber attacks, hacking, identity theft, and even creating and distributing sophisticated malware. This new frontier allows them to accumulate immense wealth and disrupt operations on a global scale. Their involvement in cybercrime provides them with financial gains and offers a secret means to influence political and economic landscapes. The anonymity and sophistication of cyber operations make it increasingly challenging for law enforcement agencies to apprehend those responsible. Law enforcement agencies globally are working to disrupt the Russian Mafia's operations. They focus on dismantling their cyber networks, tracking money flows, and arresting high-profile members. However, the Russian Mafia remains a powerful force, engaging in a range of illicit activities that range from drug trafficking and arms trade to extortion and cybercrime. The Ndrangheta. The Ndrangheta is believed to have originated around the late 19th century. Initially, it started as a form of rural resistance, but quickly became a tightly knit criminal organization. Its structure is based on blood ties and familial bonds, making it resilient and difficult to infiltrate. The Ndrina, the primary unit of the Ndrangheta, is akin to a clan or family, and its members are bound by a code of silence and loyalty. The Ndrangheta have a strict hierarchical structure. At the peak is the Kremine, a council of high-ranking bosses that dictate the syndicate's overall strategy and resolve disputes. Below them are various territorial Ndrine, each with its own leader who reports to the Kremine. This hierarchical organization enables effective control and coordination, ensuring a unified front across its vast criminal operations. In recent decades, the Ndrangheta has undergone a significant transformation. No longer confined to the Calabrian hills, it has spread its tentacles globally, becoming a major player in international organized crime. Its expansion is marked by its involvement in drug trafficking, arms trade, money laundering, extortion, and more. The Ndrangheta's influence is now felt in over 31 countries, including the Americas, Europe, Australia, and Africa. Drug trafficking is a core source of revenue for the Ndrangheta. They control most of Europe's cocaine trade, importing the drug from South America, particularly Colombia. Their extensive networks enable them to distribute narcotics across the continent, amassing vast wealth and power. It also engages in other illegal activities such as arms smuggling, money laundering, racketeering, extortion, loan sharking, and prostitution. According to a research institute, the Ndrangheta made 53 billion euros in 2013. It's also estimated that its crimes accounted for at least 3% of Italy's GDP in 2010. The Ndrangheta's strength lies in its ability to adapt and maintain a low profile. The tight-knit structure and unwavering loyalty among members make it incredibly difficult for law enforcement agencies to penetrate and gather evidence. Their underground operations and decentralized decision-making processes further add to the challenge of tracking and dismantling the organization. The Sinaloa Cartel. The Sinaloa Cartel is one of the most powerful and enduring criminal organizations. Originating from Mexico, this cartel has etched its name in the annals of criminal history, spreading its shady activities across borders and continents. The Sinaloa Cartel originated in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, known for its rugged terrain and historical association with drug production. Over the years, it has grown exponentially from a regional drug trafficking group to a global criminal empire. What sets the Sinaloa Cartel apart is its diversified portfolio of illegal activities, including drug trafficking, money laundering, extortion, and violent turf wars. At the heart of the Sinaloa Cartel's operations lies the drug trade, particularly the trafficking of narcotics such as cocaine, marijuana, methamphetamine, and heroin. Its reach extends throughout North and South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. The cartel leverages an extensive network of smuggling routes and alliances with other criminal organizations to ensure the unhindered flow of drugs across international borders. The Sinaloa Cartel exhibits high sophistication in its money laundering endeavors. These operations are designed to legitimize their illicit gains, making it difficult for authorities to trace and seize their assets. The cartel invests in various sectors, including real estate, hospitality, and legitimate businesses, utilizing these as fronts for laundering money on a grand scale. The Sinaloa Cartel is notorious for its brutality and engagement in violent turf wars. These conflicts often arise due to territorial disputes with rival cartels or clashes with law enforcement agencies. The violence associated with the cartel affects not only its criminal adversaries, but also innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. Dismantling the Sinaloa Cartel presents a formidable challenge for law enforcement agencies worldwide. Its adaptability, extensive network, and access to resources make it a resilient adversary. Moreover, corruption within law enforcement and political circles further complicates efforts to eradicate this criminal entity. As society grapples with these criminal empires, cooperation, innovation, and resilience in law enforcement remain vital to unmasking, confronting, and ultimately dismantling these insidious organizations. Please make sure to watch the next video on our channel.